going on, everybody? Welcome to That Franchise Guy Picks Week 5 of the NFL season now. I know I didn't have an episode last week. Sorry, couldn't get to it, but we are going to jump right into it here with the power rankings for Week 5. So we got 2 weeks of change here. So the Browns now finding themselves dead last at 32. The Jets moving up 1 to 31, getting a few wins in this time. The 49ers -2, can't buy a win. The Colts getting +2. I'm really interested to see what happens with this team when Andrew Luck does come back. If you're following my Colts rebuild, I wouldn't say the season's over necessarily, though the Texans have definitely emerged in that division. The Bears -1, the Cards +2, just kind of hanging around games, staying competitive. The Dolphins completely falling off, -10 for the Dolphins, who I was sort of buying right after the Jay Cutler thing, at least a little bit. A lot of you know I was really low on the Dolphins going into this year, so I'm kind of back to that point now, if not even lower. And then the Giants -4, again, just really nailed this team this year. This was probably my best call. This was a team people were picking to win the Super Bowl. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. Can't say I saw them being quite this bad. They are playing in some close games that they just, you know they're not going to win too many close games with Eli Manning at quarterback. And then the Jags +2. The Jags are a really weird team this year. If they beat Pittsburgh this week, I wouldn't really be that surprised. But if they got absolutely blown out, wouldn't be surprised either. The Bengals +2, still just kind of hanging around, honestly. They have their problems, but they have a lot of talent on that team, so they're going to be able to win some games that you don't expect them to. The Ravens -9, really falling apart in the last couple weeks. The Saints +3, Titans -1, still just a very, melancholy, average team, the Titans. The Chargers -7, they're still the 19th team. I think they could win any game, any week. They've lost every game in a close way. They're still going to be really competitive, but season's pretty much over for them. The Bucs -3, been pretty unimpressed with them. This was before the Thursday night game, by the way. The Raiders -7, was not high on them going into this year, and they have not really proved anything at all. Their defense is very poor, and now Derek Carr is out, so that's gonna be very painful. The Bills going up 5, some big upsets for the Bills. I'm not gonna put them at 3 like CBS has them. They're still a 3-point underdog against the Bengals this week. So I think they will return to the mean a little bit this season. The Rams +5, man, they've been impressive. That offense is so fun to watch. Redskins +4, they're looking really legit. I think they're the second best team in that division, potentially. We'll see what happens with this Cowboys situation. The Cowboys definitely on a downward trajectory, and the Redskins looking up. The Panthers +3, Lions +2, being more and more convinced by the Lions. Despite the tough loss that I picked them to beat the Falcons in a big upset, and they frankly did, but it got taken away from them in a dramatic fashion. The Vikings 11th, they should get Sam Bradford back this week. We'll see, but the Vikings are a very good football team. Texans +13, so pretty much right back where I had them in the preseason. So I don't know. I don't think it was overreacting. They got killed by Jacksonville week 1, but the magic of Deshaun Watson, which was a big reason I was high on this team going into the year, and I think they're more or less in control in the South now. The Titans are probably going to stand in their way a little bit, but it's their division to lose in my mind at this point. Seahawks -1. That offense is so crippling. Defense is as good as ever, but they're going to be in a situation to lose a lot of games because they're just going to be playing in close games because they can't score points. Cowboys +1, and Patriots dropping down again. And this time, I said this the first time maybe, but this time I'm even more convinced that they're not the best team in the NFL. Pretty clearly, they're still the favorites to win the Super Bowl, but I think that's because the AFC is pretty weak. The defense is so bad, and we saw the Thursday night game. This was made before that Thursday night game, but they didn't do anything impressive in that Thursday night game. it was really just Tampa doing everything they could to lose that game. And the Falcons at 6, so they get the big loss to the Bills, but I still think this is about where the Falcons belong. They're still extremely explosive on offense, but that defense is pretty bad, probably bottom 10. And then I think Matt Ryan is, I don't know if overrated is the right term, because I think people are realizing that he's not a true MVP quarterback by himself. And then the Steelers at 5, they still haven't opened it up. That offense I thought was going to be extremely explosive this year, and it's been pretty average. And then the defense has been okay as well. But 2 average units in the NFL today is enough to get you number 5 in the power rankings. And then the Broncos at 4. This was a pretty good call for me this year. I had them at 7 in the preseason, so not a ton of movement for the Broncos. Knew that defense would be great, and the offense is looking pretty good. The Chiefs +4, continuing to win. I still think they're going to drop off a little bit. They got another tough game against Houston this week on Sunday night. That'll be a great game. Then the Eagles still staying high on them. They haven't really taken that next level step that I thought we might see about this point in the season. Could that be this week? Maybe. They got another good game with Arizona coming to town. Could that offense kind of open up, or could that defense emerge as a dominant unit? So far, they've just been slightly above average in both regards. I think that offensive line has been really dominant, but the defense hasn't quite broken out like I thought it might. But they're still a really good football team. And then the Packers, still number 1. They're starting to get healthy, and when this team is at full health, there's really not a doubt, especially with what's happening in New England, that this is the best team in the NFL when healthy. That defense at times has actually looked much improved this year, and offensively, we've seen what Aaron Rodgers can do there. So that wraps up the power rankings here. We're going to get into the picks now. So I did tweet out my picks last week despite not making a video. So I said I want to go about 12-4 on overall picks, and I want to pick half of my upsets. Just go, 500 with my upset picks. So the overall record actually hasn't been very good. The last 2 weeks have been insane. We've seen, I'm pretty sure there's been more upsets than favorites winning in the last 2 weeks, which is unheard of. So the record right now is 16-13. I think that's gonna level out a little bit as the season goes on. But a kind of impressive 7-3 when picking upsets. So if we were just betting on the upsets to win on the money line, we would have had a very good last 2 weeks. So let's go through every game this week, make our picks. Starting New England, Tampa Bay, I did pick the Patriots. The Jets at Cleveland, I'm taking Cleveland. They are a 1-point underdog at home. I think they could get their first win. San Francisco at Indy. I think Indy's going to start playing a little harder, knowing that Andrew Luck could come back. It's going to be a really close, probably really crappy game. It was a coin flip, a hard one for me to pick. I'm going with Indy. Tennessee at Miami. I'm going to leave this one as a question mark for now. If Mariota plays, then we will pick the Titans. If he doesn't, we will pick Miami. Buffalo at Cincinnati. I'm taking Cincinnati. They are actually the favorites in this game. Buffalo, I think, is going to be a little too high on themselves coming off that Atlanta win, and Cincinnati, a little momentum coming off the win last week. Chargers at Giants. I will take the Chargers in the upset. I just think they're the better football team, and I think they're actually going to be playing better on the road this year than they are at home, where that's not really a home field advantage. Jags at Steelers. I'll take the Steelers, but like I said, if Jacksonville wins this game, I would not be the least bit surprised. And then the Eagles at home against Arizona. Give me the Eagles. Seahawks at Rams. This is going to be a great game. I'm taking the Seahawks in an upset. And if the Rams win that game, they're legit. They have established themselves and made themselves probably the favorite to win that division this year, which is crazy. No one would have guessed that. Though I did have them going 9-7 this year, which was a lot higher than a lot of people had. Didn't think it was going to be this good. Baltimore at Oakland. I'm going to take the Ravens in an upset, but there is news that Derek Carr is going to try and play. If that's the case, I think you got to go Oakland. So we'll leave that one as well. A lot of quarterbacks on the injury reports this week, so it really makes the picks harder. So we will adjust this depending on who actually plays. But Derek Carr, if he doesn't play, which I don't think he will, but we'll see, then I'll take Baltimore. Green Bay at Dallas. I'm taking Green Bay in the upset. KC at Houston. I'm taking Houston, who is actually favored in that game. And then Minnesota at Chicago. Mitch Trubisky's debut. Chicago plays Minnesota pretty tough, so we're going to take Chicago in a pretty big upset on Monday night. But again, question mark there with Sam Bradford. If Bradford plays, I will take the Vikings. So one last little thing that we're going to do here on this series is we're going to try and grow $5 across the year based on my lock of the week. So last week that would have been the Eagles at the Chargers, and I would have taken the Eagles. So $5 grows into 11 as it was a plus 120 money line. This week it's going to be Green Bay at plus 105 as underdogs. So we're going to try and grow the $6 winnings that we had from that Eagles game and put that on the Packers to upset Dallas in a big matchup on Sunday. So that does it, guys. Hope you enjoy. Give the video a like if you did enjoy the content. And cheers, everyone. We'll see you next week.